So my next question for you is, how can someone who's in a resource group community practice and display their executive presence? In your Udemy course, as I recall, you offered 6 areas of focus, 6 areas where you need to develop and display certain behaviors in order to be seen as a leader. So what I'd love for you to do, Joe, is walk us through one at a time, each of those areas.
So the first thing we want to remember is it all hinges off the definition, right? Or the definition, not because it's a definition, because it's the underlying principle of how to generate it. And just to remind the listeners, it's your ability to inspire confidence that you can lead well in a given situation, all right? So now let's talk about 6 degrees of executive presence. They're really states of being. So we'll start with one, which is proactive. These aren't special terms. Proactive means you don't wait passively for things to happen, you take action. So let's say you're leading an ERG and there is a budgeting challenge, right? You got this great speaker, you've told leadership, they're coming, everyone's excited, the communications have gone out, something happens to the budget and the budget's gone. What do you do? As a leader with executive presence, do you throw up your hands and say, oh, it's too bad, so sad, can't have this speaker anymore, apologies? Or do you turn over every stone, try to get personal contributions, start a Kickstarter? If you got some inheritance, maybe negotiate a deal where, okay, I'm going to front this, but I expect this money back from the organization when the budget is reinstated. Are you going to take action to make that thing happen, which everyone wants to happen? That's the goal of the ERG and the organization for this great speaker who, and to avoid embarrassment, right? Like, you're going to tell this speaker, we can't pay you, sorry, after they've, changed their plans and schedule. And so that's being proactive. Next is being resolute. Being resolute means you don't fold under unpopularity or political pressure. It doesn't mean you're stubborn. Now, if there's something that should be changed and you have a good reason to change it, you change it. But you don't want to turn left and then 5 seconds later turn right, and then 5 seconds later brake and then stop. I get motion sick, right, in these cars, and I don't like that. And I don't think people like that at work, where you keep switching directions all the time. So if you're a leader of the ERG and you have a vision and you share that with people, and then there's a groundswelling of people saying, no, we need to do this. Are you resolute? If what they're saying is popular, but maybe not for what's required for the organization, if you are firm in your conviction that the original one that was set with everyone is right, then you need to be able to deal with that and say, okay, I understand, we're going to figure it out, but for now, this is what we're going to do. And it's not easy, right? Because we all want people to get along and feel like they can participate fully, but not at the expense of always changing every time someone raises an objection or has a different idea. So that's being resolute. The third is equanimity, which is just a fancy way of saying cool under fire, right? So if you're a leader of an ERG and let's say something's happening where a lot of your other co-leads or people who are supporting you, they got affected in a layoff, or I don't know, something happened and they left the company, and now you're under-resourced. Do you freak out and say, oh my God, can't do this anymore, the sky is falling, this whole thing is no good anymore? Or do you say, you know what, I'm just one person, this is a problem, so I need to get help? And with that kind of measured sort of executive resolve, go to people and say, hey, what do you think we should do? What help could we get? Would you be willing to contribute? Or who do you think would be willing to help out? Because we lost some valuable staff or leadership on our team. So that's equanimity. Stillness, it's a bit of a counterpoint to being proactive. It doesn't mean you don't do anything. It means you act when the time is right. So everyone knows a person who does like a lot of busy work, right? Like they're always doing stuff, but never going anywhere. It's just, so it's the same thing. Sometimes it's better to be still and to listen and to hear what's going on from leadership or from your membership. And then when you understand this is the right time to launch that initiative or to propose something because the time is right. Now, if you keep on proposing it when the time is wrong, sometimes you can lose credibility because people are like, oh, I can't take another meeting with Joe. He keeps bothering me about this. Versus, you know what? I tried once. I can see this is not going to work right now. Shift to something else. And then when you see the opening, that's when you go in and you act. So the second to last one is engaged. And engaged basically means you are connected with the people involved as well as the overall goal. So everyone has had a leader who shows up, says, we're going to do all this and makes all these promises, and then they leave. And then when you ask them to help out with something, or you have a problem or an issue, they're like nowhere to be found. How does that make you feel as someone who's working for them? It's the same way with the ERG leadership or membership. So the members are giving freely of their own time, just like you are. And this is always, almost always, time on top of like your day job. So are you engaged? So when someone says, I have a problem or I have a concern, are you responding to them the way you would anyone else on your team or organization who cares, or that you care about? If your child or your partner or spouse said, hey, Joe, I got a problem. Do you say, you know what? Schedule something 3 weeks out. We'll talk about it then. That is not engagement. It doesn't create that, okay, this person's going to lead, because when I'm telling them there's a problem, they're going to get engaged. And what if that problem is exactly the solution that you need, right? Like, what if there is a gem in what they're sharing with you, but you turn it away, and now you're never going to hear from this person again? Why would they come to talk to you when you were totally disengaged from what they're trying to do? So that is caution for leaders. Everyone's busy and you have to prioritize. But if you don't engage with people, they're not going to continue. And especially when you do engage with them, and then it's like a bad engagement, right? It's like you show up and you're not listening, then they definitely don't want to do that anymore. And it's sad, because it could be the thing that really helps you or the organization. The last example, or the last of the 6 degrees of executive presence, is the most obvious one. Starts with a C. What is it, Joe? Do you remember from the course?
I think I do, Professor Kwon. It's confidence.
Yes, you are an excellent student and teacher, by the way. It is confidence, and it's the one that seems the most obvious, right? Even if you look at the definition, executive presence is the ability to inspire confidence that you can lead well in a given situation. How can you inspire confidence if you don't have confidence yourself? This whole fake it till you make it, I think, is sometimes misunderstood. The way I understand it, it means sometimes you may need it as a bridge for you to take that first step for something that you truly can do, but you're maybe having a little bit of anxiety about it, right? Me being confident about being a Navy SEAL is a death wish, because I'm not prepared to be a Navy SEAL. But me being confident and faking going on a presentation going on a stage to give a presentation to a large crowd, that may be good for me to fake my nervousness a little bit, because I have been giving presentations, and I have been trained, and I have been working hard, and I know my content. So it's not about pretending to have something you don't. It's about bridging that anxiety to confidence. And once you get going, then people are like, wow, Joe really knows what he's talking about. And then people can follow, because you have confidence, which gives them confidence that what's going to happen is going to work.
Those are 6 behaviors, and all 6 of those behaviors clearly are things that you could do in any kind of group, whether it's a small team, an ERG group, or a large group. They're the same behaviors, and you can develop them over time through practice.